to say so I can be more comfortable standing up here. I'm real nervous about being here. This is a real big topic. This is real important. And it's really an honor and a privilege for me to have been picked to chair this meeting. And I'm real interested in and real excited about the two people that are going to be speaking tonight. And then after everyone up here has spoken, then we're going to open up the meeting, and we'd like to hear from all of you too, or as many as we can get in, because the meeting ends at 1:45. If I'm still awake, the meeting will end at 1:45. If I fall asleep, just throw something at me up here. The first person I'd like to call up to speak is a woman that I've gotten to know mostly today, because we've just spent so much time talking, and I'm real excited about hearing what she has to talk about relationships. And with nothing further, I'll give you Jan.
Hi, my name's Jan, and I'm an addict. And my clean date's August 4th of 85. And I still can't believe that I was asked to speak on this topic. And I've been saying to all my friends that, I can't believe this, because I feel like I know so little about it. And I feel like I have such bad luck in that area. And I had to think about that, and I thought about it long and hard all week, and I realized that it's not about luck. And I remember when I was in rehab, and they told me that it would be 2 years till they, predicted that I would be able to get involved in a relationship. And I had no idea what they were talking about, and I couldn't understand any of that. And 2 years just came and went recently. And I thought, good, now it's like legal. Now I can get involved, and maybe it's going to work, because up until that point, it hadn't at all. And I realized why that was. Like my first year clean, I went through a lot of self-discovery, and I was in a whole lot of denial when I first got clean about a major relationship, my marriage, that I had been in for like 7 years. And when I got clean, I felt that I had dealt with that and that it was over. And I guess I had about a year clean, and I wrote my 4th step, and I started realizing that I hadn't grieved that relationship at all, and I had begun to do that. I guess I had about a year clean, and I got real overwhelmed with that. I had a lot of regret and guilt, and a really strong obsession to relive that familiar, comfort. I wanted to go back, and I wanted to make up, and I tried that. And it was too late, and I was in a lot of pain with that. And I think for me now, I've been able to work through a lot of that, and it's been like working the steps and realizing that I need to get to the core of myself and what's important to me. And Another relationship in my life is my 2 sons. I have 2 little boys, and I'll tell you what, if there's anyone in here that has kids, there is so much hope in that area, and it's such a major difference, because my relationship with my kids when I first came in the program was based on like a lot of anxiety, and it's gone now, and I'm able to love them unconditionally, and it's great, it's really a reward. I came in the program, I was involved in a relationship. I kind of came in on the buddy system, and what happened there was when we got clean, we realized that we're 2 different people than we thought we were in this like fantasy relationship, and we went our own separate ways. And the neat thing about that is that man is still clean in this program too, and every time I see him, it's like a little reminder of where I was and that this program works. And as far as male-female relationships, I had a really hard time with that my first year, because I think what was happening was it was the same as using the drugs. Like, I had the same symptoms with relationships that I did in my drug addiction, like the denial, obsession, compulsion, like the getting and using, and the one more time syndrome, and I started getting in a lot of pain with that and feeling like a lot of let down feelings and a lot of empty feelings. And I got involved in a relationship, I guess, about 3 months ago. And what happened was the man was new, a newcomer coming back from a relapse. And, I was told, it's a risk, it's a risk. And I felt that the risk was like more on him because he was new. And what's turned out is that I feel like it's more of a risk for me, because I've been feeling that, like, he's where he is and I'm where I'm at, and that I'm real frustrated with that. And what started happening was I had feelings like I wanted to control him and change him, and but the difference for me now is that I don't want to do that. Like, I get those warning signals, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in that role of not being able to accept somebody, and I just know that I have to trust God, and I'm either going to trust God or not, and I made a decision back when I did my third step that I was going to try and turn things over to God and see what he had in store for me, and that's what I've been doing. And it's just I have relationships today with my family that I never would have dreamed that I could have had, especially my dad. And like, I grew up in a dysfunctional, addicted home, and all my feelings back then were based on, like, fear and rejection, and I never thought my dad loved me, and up till this day, he's never told me he loved me, and I don't know that he ever will, but the neat thing is that, like, every Friday night, he comes to my house to babysit when I go to a meeting, and it's like the neatest thing because he bathes my kids and he puts them to bed, and when I go away and I'm not there, they sit on his lap, and it's like the only affection that he really has now. And it's so neat because it's like, without saying it, I know he loves me. And if I wouldn't have got clean and come into this program and built that trust with him, I would have never been able to experience that love that I've gained through that. And also the relationships I've had with the women in this program is like incredible, as far as the trust and the honesty, and it helps me learning about the self-honesty, and because most times I'll question my feelings, and I'll kick it out to one of my girlfriends, and I've let them know me, consistently, and they'll tell me if I'm out of line or if they think I'm in denial or whatever. And I think that's probably where I've been able to grow the most as far as friends. And one other thing I'd like to say is, there's a lot of people here at this convention that that I don't realize how close I am to them, and I just see them at meetings and I take it for granted, and then we come down here and just take this time and stop and realize why we're here, and it's like there's so many people in this program that I love, and it's like the brothers and the sisters that I've always wanted, and I guess that's all that I have.
Thank you. There were so many things that you said, Jan, that really hit home with me, especially about whether it's a drug or it's a man, or in relationships, how I look outside myself all the time to fix me. That really hit home with me. I wanted to say that. The next person that I'd like to introduce is Steve, and I'm real excited about hearing him also. He's a really neat person, and I just love hearing him speak. So with nothing further, I'll give you Steve.
All right, Steve,
I'm an addict named Steve. I've been clean since February 27th of 1984, by the grace of God. I'll tell you, when I heard I was picked to share here tonight, I think my first reaction was, why? You know, and I ask why a lot. I'm trying to work on that tonight. But, you know, and I've tried real hard for the last couple days at least not to think about what I want to say up here tonight, but there are a couple things that I do want to say. I remember the last couple conventions here at the Tri-State. I used to go to relationship meetings wanting to hear about relationships with the opposite sex. And for the last 2 years, I've walked into relationship meetings and I've heard people talk about God or their sponsor. And I was determined tonight to make sure that I wasn't going to talk about that, God or my sponsor. I'd talk about a relationship with a woman, opposite sex. But I know today, and I've learned through experience and through this program, that God has to be included in any kind of a relationship. You know, and I believe for myself, and anything I say up here tonight's my opinion, that you know, a relationship with another human being is a big part of this program, and also learning how to deal with life on life terms. I believe that's what it's all about, the steps and the principles. And you know, like I always say to myself and I say to the people I sponsor, it's real easy to work a program when things are going good, you know, but when things get tough and we get jammed up, I know I forget to apply some of the principles until I go through that process that I have to go through, which is getting a little bit better. I'm doing real good now. I'm not in a relationship. But you know what, from my past experience, because like these last few months I've done a little inventory on myself pertaining to relationships with another human being, because I want to see where I went wrong and also where I was right, what worked and what didn't work. Hopefully someday I'll be able to apply what I've learned and to keep out what I've learned about myself that wasn't real good. I believe for any kind of relationship, communication's real important. You have to be able to talk to somebody, and they have to be able to talk back. Relating, you know, just being able to honestly share with somebody, and hopefully getting some feedback back. You know, I'm just starting to be able to talk about feelings to anybody, even my sponsor, let alone another human being. And another thing I need to watch are my motives behind some of the things I say. You know, because this disease is so cunning, baffling, and powerful. I just need to be real careful. I got to learn how to be friends first and then lovers later, not lovers first and then friends. I haven't seen it work yet. You know, but basically a relationship, like my relationship with my sponsor, the guys that I sponsor, it's just about or almost the same as it is that it would be with me and a woman. And when it comes down to it, though, it's hard to do for myself. You know, I used to say these relationships I was in made me work the steps. You know, sometimes I forget that I'm powerless over somebody else's disease, just like I'm powerless over myself. I've learned that nobody's perfect, that I have to be able to accept a person as a whole person. I can't accept just certain things about you and not accept the rest, because none of us are perfect. We have to give a little bit, give in, and take. I was thinking yesterday, watch, all my old girlfriends will be here tonight. They'll all be in the back room standing together. It's a lot of friends here. It's a lot of people that are real close to me. It's a lot of women in my life that are real special friends, and I never had that before. Unconditional friendship is one of my greatest rewards of this program. Never was I able to talk to a woman about another woman, and I have women in my life that I could talk to about relationships, because sometimes it's easier for me to go to somebody else instead of to the source. I want somebody else's opinion before I go to the source. It's real nice to have. Like I said before, I believe God, it has to be a three-party relationship with anybody. Sponsor, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. I don't know, this is, it's like one of those topics when you hear one of those topics at a meeting and people start passing because they don't want to share or they don't want to get honest. It's real hard to talk about this. And I heard from a few people, what do you have? What do you know about relationships? Because maybe I haven't been in successful relationships. I don't know what successful ones are and what non-successful ones are. What's real important for me today is, see, I was into self-rejection, and I was into like rebellion and revenge. And like these last couple months, I've just been kind of dating, I would say. And see, before, if I'd asked you out on a date and you said no, I wouldn't talk to you. We're done. It ain't about that today for me. I'm not, how can I say this? I'm not taking it as a rejection, and I'm not acting out on revenge or rebellion because somebody turned me down. And that's growth for me. I'm on the 10th step now, and I'm learning a little bit on how to take a personal inventory daily, and thank God I'm on starting these maintenance steps, because they're so helpful. Communication, honest sharing, trust. It's real hard for us to trust, but you know what? We have to take risk in here just like we did out there. And sometimes when I got beat, I went back to the same dope man. Maybe this time it won't be the same. Had a hard time with that second step to some of my relationships. Because I was at a point where, it says repeating the same mistake over again, thinking it would be different results. I was so sick at a point that I knew what the results were, but I'd do it anyways. It's self-abuse. I'm not into that today. I think I know what I deserve today. I'm not real sure, but I know what I don't want. And I've learned that through situations. My sponsor said something to me a few months ago, and I'm really starting to believe this, that person that I'd least expect from me to have a relationship with is probably the one that's real good for me. I'm not looking for one. I'm going to see how good of a job my higher power can do for me. Because today I know that it's the pain of not being in a relationship and being lonely. It's a lot better than the pain of being in a bad relationship. You know, sometimes I feel real familiar. I feel real comfortable in a bad relationship, and I don't want that today. Damn, there's a dance across the hall. Look at all these people in here. I came here to learn something tonight. I hope I hear something from you people, and thanks for coming, and thanks for giving me your time.
There's some things that I'd like to say for myself about relationships. Again, my name's Judy, and I'm a drug addict. Hi, everybody. I've been clean since November 16th of 1982. You know, when I was asked or given the privilege to chair this meeting, my first thought was, oh, wow, that's great. And I'm real excited about this, because one of the things that really struck me about what Steve said is the words successful and unsuccessful. I'm not really clear on what that means. I want to tell you a little bit about myself, in that I've been married for 10 years. I got married in an addiction, and I got clean in an addiction. And I can't really tell you that I have a successful marriage. I have a wonderful marriage. It's healthy. But the word success means I've reached something. That's what goes through my head when I hear the word success, like I have finally achieved something. And I don't believe that, because if I thought that for 1 second, I'd quit working. I would just say, okay, this is the way it is, and then I'd just sit down and relax. And one of the things that I know about my relationship, not only with my husband, but in my whole life, is that I work. I really work at them. And I've had the same sponsor since I'm clean. My relationships that are in my life are long term, and they're good for me, and they're not easy, and they go hand in hand, I think. The relationships that I struggle the most with are the ones that I get the most out of. You know, when I was thinking about talking about this topic, one of the things that struck me was, if I was good with relationships, I wouldn't need this program. I wouldn't have used drugs, because I would have known what to do with all that junk in myself, about myself, that kept me not functioning in this world in relationships. I'm not an island. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I was a friend. When I started getting high, I was 14 years old. Way back then, I didn't know how to deal with relationships. I ran. I didn't know how to be a girlfriend. I didn't know how to be a daughter. I didn't know how to be in a healthy relationship. It's really something that getting clean is teaching me, and working the steps and working with the sponsor that I love dearly. And another thing that I know that's real important for me to remember about relationships, whether it's the girlfriends that I've made in this program or the male friends that I've made, is that I all my life wanted every relationship. I trusted everybody until you gave me a reason not to. And I would just, with all my heart and soul, trust you. I don't know there's a word for that. I don't know if it's gullible or naive or whatever it is, but that's part of who I was. And I got hurt often as a result of that, because I kind of went into relationships really with my eyes closed. And one of the things that this program has taught me is that people have to earn my trust in any relationship. Because that's something that I have to work real hard at, not just giving freely. Like, when someone asks me to sponsor them, or in a new friendship or anything, my first thing is, well, yeah, I believe anything that they're going to tell me. Well, I have to be real careful of that. And this program has taught me, and not in a negative way, but in a caring way to myself, so that I don't keep getting burned in relationships. And I'm real cautious of that today. And intimacy is part of relationships, and intimacy is something that I didn't know as a kid growing up. And the people in the program here have taught me about intimacy, about wanting to put everyone at an arm's length, yet this program teaches me I don't need to do that anymore. I can put my arms down and I can allow people into my life. And that's what this program, that's one of the many things that the program has given me, is the risk to put my arms down and say it's okay to let someone in. I had a sponsor when I first got clean for a couple of months. That's I forgot. And that was a real tough relationship for me because I was very hurt by that. And I thought, well, I'll never again. That's how I take every relationship. It's I'll always or I'll never. There's no in between. And that was real hard, learning to open up to a sponsor again. And that was a real risk for me. Yet I have done that. And I've also wanted to quit my sponsor many, many, many times. Change sponsors when it got hard, or when she said what I needed to hear, or when I wasn't in a good place. The first thought is, well, that's enough for that. I don't need that anymore. And what do I need to hear that crap for? And I keep sticking it out. And there's something that the program gives me, and that's courage. And that's courage to be uncomfortable in my relationships. And I don't always have to say, it's great or it's comfortable or whatever, but I do have to know that I can stay there and wait it out and keep asking for help. And another important relationship for me is also, when I said about the success or achieving something in a relationship or having a successful relationship, it's kind of like I would be saying that I have a successful relationship with my higher power. Well, I don't believe that for a minute. I seek that relationship. That's a constant daily thing I have to do. That's not something that now I feel connected and that's all I have to do now. I can relax, because as soon as I relax, everything goes right back down the tubes again. So I guess one of the things that I've learned is that I have to stay alert with my relationships, like stay awake, and always be sure that I'm taking care of myself, which is the first thing. If I'm not taking care of me, I'm no good to anyone else. That always sounded real selfish to me, and because of the home I came from and all that stuff and my background, it was, you don't take care of yourself. You're always giving to someone else, that martyrdom, that martyr role. Well, I don't have to do that anymore. There's a lot of things that I used to do that I don't have to do anymore in my relationships. And what Jan was saying about looking outside of myself to make me feel better all the time, I do that in relationships. When I'm not feeling good, I'll call up a friend and I'll say, what's going on with you? That's the first thing. I'm not going to talk about me. You tell me what's going on with you. And that's a real easy way out for me, to not let someone else in and for me not to deal with myself. So that's something that I have to constantly work on. But I'm really I'm real excited about the learning that I'm doing, I guess, the experiences that I'm having in the program with people, because it's been so important. And also the relationship that I'm having with myself for the first time. I didn't have a clue when I came into this program who I was. I really didn't have an identity. If you asked me what I liked, I'd say, well, what do you like? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? I really didn't know. Even though I'm real opinionated now, but I know that about myself, and that's okay. I guess what I'm saying is that I'm learning a lot about myself, and the relationship that I have with myself is that I'm learning to trust myself. That trust that I so freely gave to other people and thought that I had to give to myself, and I'll trust myself in doing anything. Now I kind of sit and have quiet time and listen about how I'm really feeling about something, and not just jumping like I always did before. I'm still impulsive in decisions, though. Don't ask my husband about that. He'll tell you all about it. But anyway. It's really nice to, I'm running out of things to say, and I just want to open up the floor, but I want to also say that I want to open up the podium for sharing, and there's a whole lot of people in this meeting, and I'm going to ask you to please keep the sharing at a minimum. We have another 45 minutes, so could you keep it to a reasonable length as they've asked me to ask you? And I'd like to call on people if they would like to come up and share. I'm sorry if I don't know your name. Thank you. Thanks.
My name is Gary, and I'm an addict. And I really like what I heard tonight. Relationships. When I first came into Narcotics Anonymous, it was told to me I better find out who I am. And how to find out who I am is by working the steps with a sponsor. Today I'm really grateful that I have a sponsor that's committed to me and helping God save my life and Him saving my life through the steps of this program. But I want to tell you a little bit about my relationship. I came out of a rehab a long while ago, and I was already married. And this is for people that might be having problems now. That life goes on after a relationship. You don't die, and you don't have to use, and you don't have to kill yourself either. I was married 15 years, and I got married. I was in an addiction. And coming out of this addiction, this active addiction, and getting clean, it was kind of tough to the first, year in recovery, where you have to make meetings and you have to look out for yourself, and it's hard to tell these people in your life that they're no longer number one, that Narcotics Anonymous has to be number one. And that's a real hard choice to make. But recovery comes first. And it was a choice that I didn't have to make for myself. And this is the point I'm getting at. That working these steps into your life and having a relationship with a God of your understanding, I didn't have to do a thing about making that choice. Although I wanted to stay married, although I love my children, and I used a lot of that excuses, that what about the kids, and what about the kids, and what about the kids? Well, the kids love me. And my son just thinks about sports, and my daughter thinks about dances, and they also think about their mother and their father. And for a long time I hid behind that. That was part of a denial about this relationship that I had. And I remember I had to leave the house, and I had to go and I had to take care of myself because it was getting to a point where I was being physically attacked. And I had to stay clean, and that was first and foremost. And I called my sponsor, and he told me, take a ride, get with a couple of recovering addicts, chill, spend a couple of days with a couple of recovering addicts, and pray. And that's all I had to do. And I had to remain powerless, which is the first and foremost in my recovery, is remaining powerless. And when it comes to people you love and you want, and today I can say I really don't know what I want, that remaining powerless and having prayer and the God of my understanding, God gave me the answer. See, I really believe that Narcotics Anonymous is for me. I'm an addict. It's the only way I'm going to learn how to live. And what God did for me was take a lot of things out of my life without me having that power or control and accepting it. And today I could say, I talk to them. I see my children on a regular basis. I write. Had to walk away from everything I owned, and that was quite a lot. But the expectations that could be put on you, and that was put on me. And when I say me, it's we, because there's a lot of addicts in here that might be going through what I went through. And it was a hard thing to do, because I always wanted to buy that relationship. When I was out late or when I was doing my running, it was always a matter of buying that relationship off and paying for it, and not knowing how to really have a relationship. And Narcotics Anonymous has taught me how to have a relationship, and that's with you people and the God of my understanding. And that includes a sponsor and some real good friends in Narcotics Anonymous. I really don't believe anybody should get into a relationship until they do a fifth step. When you find out a little bit more about ourselves, and that was a big help. and getting responsible and getting honest about motives, which I heard, which I really like. I know what my motives are, and I really don't know what your motives are. And I can very, very easily be swayed, and that can get me in trouble. Today I can tell you, because of Narcotics Anonymous, I didn't die over this relationship, and I thought about killing myself at times. And I thought I was worthless, even clean. And I thought that the love that I had for all these years was something that was supposed to be, and God proved me wrong. And I just got to remember that if God's going to put somebody in my life, God will do that. And I don't have to go running, and I don't have to seek it out. Today, the most important relationship I do have is with the God of my understanding, and that I hear in a lot of relationship meetings. Without that, I'm gone. There are 3 steps in this program that only interact with human beings, and the rest is between myself and you people and the God of my understanding. And I need that relationship in order to stay clean. And if anybody's going through what I went through, or is going through something that is troubling, I suggest, and it helped me, is to call my sponsor and open up and let them know what's going on in my life and in your life. And things do get better. Thanks a lot for letting me share.
Thank you, Gary.
I'm Dwight, and I'm an addict. My clean date is June the 15th, 84. For me, relationships have been a big problem in my life and something I do repeatedly. You know, I'm not a hypocrite, and people always say don't get a relationship for your first year. I never say that. What I say is don't use to make meetings constantly. I'm an addict, and it amazed me to get free from chemicals to find out I'm still addicted, very much still addicted. To my relationships, you know, I would much rather go through detox than detach. I mean, really. The same way being an addict using drugs, I could not keep my addiction to one drug, being honest. In relationships, I cannot keep my relationships to one person. I have a problem with monogamy, and I'm being very honest. Being an addict, I always want more and more and more. Being an addict in recovery, I always want more and more and more. And it's the same progression I have found in my life. It's like at first I meet somebody and I have a hole in my gut, and I feel like she'll make me feel okay. All I need is her. And I will get with her and I say, you know, do you like me? Do I like you? And she said, yes, I like you. Then I want more. Do you love me? Finally, they say, yes, I love you. That's still not enough. Will you love me forever? Will you love me only? How to do this type of game plan, you know? I'm very good at copying and very bad at keeping. I will sabotage my life again and again and again. We talk about insanity, and then wonder why it happens. You know, it really gets to be a trip. And then when they leave my life, I feel like I'm abandoned. What's wrong with me? I do the same shit over and over and over and over again. A little bit about my sickness. My disease tells me never be honest in a relationship, because honesty will mess one up. I tried it. You know, it really gets to be very painful at times. Sound like a real sick, yeah. You know, I'm talking about my unconditional love. My unconditional love is like I will find somebody who I think is less than me, so I can control them. If I control them, make them better, like I'm God, some kind of way, they'll make me better later. I will fill them up so they can fill me up. You know, that's the kind of sickness I get off into with my mind. Always wanting more and more and more and never enough. No matter what they do for me, it's not enough. And yet I don't want to put nothing into it, but I want the maximum benefits. Relationships. With parents today, it's okay. But so often even today, I feel like my parents didn't love me enough. Been married a couple times. they didn't love me enough. As I said, as far as intimate relationships, if I may call them that, they don't love me enough, you know? And it really gets to be a never-ending cycle. I'm really right now focusing on spending time alone with my HP. And it's very scary at times. I feel like God will not give me what I need, so I must go out and get it for myself. You know, that kind of stuff. If I get the right person in my life, I'll be okay. And that's crap. It's hard to make a relationship work. I feel the only way I will get better is to keep trying. I do surrender it constantly, but then again, I play God also. I will experience pain, and I will not detach, but I will so-called let go. Sure, yeah, I'll let go. And in a few days, the withdrawal set in. I feel anxiety, I feel depression, I'll crave this person, and thinking they're dead in my mind, I will resurrect them and get them back in my life. And then I'll wonder, why am I feeling pain again? You know, what to do? Keep using.
I'm an addict. My clean date is April 4th, 1983. 84. 84. I was thinking about relationships, and that's where I'm at right now, feeling a lot of pain. The other day I cried so hard I felt like my heart was going to fall out on the floor. And and I've been with my sponsor, and I want to talk about the relationship with myself, because somehow I allowed myself once again to get caught up in my child and my relationship and my work, and forgot all about me. And consequently, I end up jammed up, and end up not working on the things I had to work with. And I had to make a choice. I had to say, look, that either I'm in this relationship, it's my relationship or my recovery, and I chose my recovery because I choose not to debate my recovery with anything today. And it was real painful. You know, that's the first time I got 2 years clean and got into a relationship. Not to mention, I got into a lot of relationships with newcomers, and it was real selfish for me to play with a newcomer who doesn't even know the program yet. You know, and I feel real bad about that sometime when I think about it, because it's really destroying to newcomers, vulnerable people playing with somebody's life. You know, that's the way I felt like I was doing. But now I came to a decision about it's me and my son. I have a 1-year-old son, and I'm scared, you know, of being a single parent, and so this is the first weekend that I had to really sit down and think and not go nuts. You know, the only thing that scared me about getting into relationship, I told my sponsor, I don't want to do this relationship because I might be that same jealous maniac. And she said, you will be. And she was right, you know. And I somehow always try to hide my jealousies and stuff, and they all end up coming out. The relationship brought out all my sicknesses, you know, and I'm glad they did, because I didn't have the balls to bring them out and tell somebody. You know, I allowed somebody else to bring them out in me, you know, which caused me a lot of pain. But and I was just sitting telling somebody today about it, and they were telling me that yeah, my husband just died last month, Sandy, and the other girl said, yeah, my husband just died of AIDS too. And I was thinking, damn, that's pain. I said, are you still clean? And she said, yeah, you know. And I was thinking that, man, my pain, I'll get through this. You know, I was thinking of other people's pains, and as far as relationships and stuff, and you know, I've gotten closer to God through this. I don't want it to be like this, but it is, and I know that I'll grow from it. And I'm just trying not to be that same person that got crazy and nasty and want to hurt somebody on purpose just because I'm feeling bad. And it's real hard. It's real hard to do some uncomfortable things, but I know that in this fellowship I have to do some uncomfortable things to change, because I believe that we can come as we are, but we can't stay as we are. You know, I believe that. We won't change, man. We won't change. We'll go back out and be the same people. And it's just God given to me. My relationship with my parents are so good today. I walked into fellowship blaming my parents, hating them, putting them on guilt trips. The more I learned about this disease of alcoholism and addiction, the more I learned of why they behaved the way they did. You know, and I wasn't this perfect child either, you know, and they didn't take any parenting classes, you know, and I was thinking about how I really love them today. You know, and I was thinking that today in my life, it's my son first, you know, well, me first and then my son, you know, and I'm going to take some parenting classes, you know, because I can sit back and complain about this all week long like I've been doing, but it's time to do some work, you know, and I'm ready because I had time to think, and I'm going to do some work, you know, and it's going to turn out. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Robin and I'm an addict. This room looks so much bigger up here. I did something 11 months ago when I got out of rehab. I heard the suggestions, but I did something different. I did things my way. I got into a relationship right out of rehab. Then I didn't get a sponsor. I used him as a sponsor. And that just didn't work. Our relationship went straight downhill. And, you know, I realized if I'm in a relationship with the opposite sex, I have to stay out of his recovery and he has to stay out of mine, or it just doesn't work. Like you were saying, Steve, God plays a big role in our relationship. Without God, I mean, my higher power, without him, there wouldn't be a relationship. I truly believe that. And, you know, my parents, they got into recovery too, right after rehab when I got out. And they've helped me a lot. You know, my parents, I'm truly grateful for them because they got involved with the Al-Anon and all the different little programs for them. And it's great. But, you know, when I make a list of priorities, my higher power comes first. Because I believe that if I'm not praying, I'm not staying. And, you know, then I'm next. Because, I don't know, I have to look out for me. Because if I don't, nobody else will. I truly believe that. And, you know, this is my first convention. I've been clean 11 months. And I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. Any red and white?
I'm an addict. My name's Robin too. Robin 2. Is there Robin 3? I was sitting there, and the two things that started to hit me the most was that this disease affects every area of my life. And the second thing that really I've come to understand about my relationship with a man is that it's usually fear-based. I have two major fears where it comes to relationships with men. And the first one is the fear of being alone the rest of my life. And the second one is fear of being abandoned. And you start to put those two fears together and put them into a relationship, and it doesn't work. You know, here's one person on this side that's really afraid to get involved. And here's the one on this side saying, cling, grab, hold on, do whatever it takes. And there was something that was said a while ago, and that was not knowing who you were, not knowing what you liked. And I knew exactly who I was and what I liked, and that was who you wanted me to be and what you wanted me to like. And that's exactly what I was every time I walked into a relationship. It's not like that today, thank God, thank this program. But those fears aren't gone. I've just been given courage to get involved in them and to look them in the face and see them for what they are. The one other thing that really hit me in every single relationship that I've ever been in recovery, my clean date's May 23rd of 81, and I've been involved in a few relationships, and that word in and of itself, you know, sort of bothers me. It's like a relationship. You're hanging out waiting for something better, you know. There's some love involved somewhere, and I think that's what it's called. And we learn to live a day at a time. And something seems to happen when we get involved with someone is that we forget about that. We forget about just for today, and we forget about making a commitment just for today. When I came into this program, they told me, make a commitment just for today. And it doesn't have to be forever, but you can do it just for today. And the thing that prevented me from living and loving and being with another human being was the fear of tomorrow. And if I can keep myself just in today, things go a lot better. Thanks.
Thanks, Robin.
My name's Kim. I'm an addict. I don't know, my stomach's slipping. I knew I had to get up here and talk about, this topic, because this is the only struggle I've had since I've been around. I got this picture from my parents of, the house and the white picket fence and the dog and shopping at Giant and babies, and I don't know how to get it. I got about 14 months clean, and, I've been trying to get it all the wrong ways, all my old behaviors and stuff, and it's just not working. I don't know, I just really been messed up with this. I know that what is really, all that stuff's not going to make a relationship, that I got to be all right with myself first, and I know that all I got to do is just shut up and do what I'm supposed to do and wait for, my higher power to do it, but I want it so bad. I guess I don't want to look at myself. I just snatch somebody up, and say, we're going to have a relationship, and it doesn't work like that, and I really could relate to what Sandy was saying about, really being selfish, and because, like, I was just with, a newcomer, and that's not right, and it's really caused me a lot of pain. I think I'm going to try and just, wait for my higher power to put somebody in my life. It's like, okay, it's like you make a mistake and it's A, B, and C, and I think maybe if I just make A, B, and D, it's going to be different, and it's not. I know that I'm making different mistakes instead of the same mistake that I was doing for a long time, and I guess, that's the second step, working, being restored to sanity, but I know I still got, a far way to go. I think my parents is one of the most healthy relationships I have, when I say healthy, I mean good for me, They're in their programs, and they've really stood by me through this and helped me a lot. And when I came out of rehab, I moved away from it, and it's like one of the hardest things that I did. I struggle with that every day, just wanting to run home to mom and dad and, have my clothes washed and stuff, but, I can't do that. I know they love me, they forget about me sometimes. I just gotta call them up and make sure they still remember I'm their kid, but, I know they're still there for me if I ever need them. I miss them a whole lot, but I've but I have a new family, where I'm recovering, and they really take care of me. They just took me right under their wing, and they've helped me a lot. I have a really good relationship with my sponsor today, and that's something that's real neat for me, because she really helps me a lot. And also the women that I went through treatment with, that are still clean, are really there for me, and they stick by me, and I need that too. The only healthy relationships I have with men are either men that are married, because you can't be with them, or like the guys that I went through treatment with, and they're like my brothers, and I would never think of that, but I guess I need a whole lot of work in that area. But I heard, the speaker that was at the speakers meeting tonight saying, that he had a year clean and still was acting out on something that he was trying to change, so I'm glad to hear a lot of people talk. I don't think like I'm the only one that's fucked up anymore, so thanks for letting me share.
Here in the red hat.
I'm grateful for recovering addict named Ken. Man, it's good to be here. I felt like these relationships that we talked about, I was up in the room early, and me and the addict was talking about the same topic about relationships, just one of them heavy ones here, For me, I realized that through the course of my life, I don't know what relationships are. I've been taking hostages for a long time, Really, you know, and that's all it was, you know. Like when I first come through the door of the program, I heard a suggestion too about no relationship. So like for me, it was an easy way out. I dumped the relationship that I was in, and I started looking around the room. And I said, okay, now have sex. So like, you know, and I went through like the fellowship. It was a requirement, sleep with Ken, you know, and because the point of the matter was like Ken didn't know who in the hell he was. I didn't have a relationship with me. You know, when I come to these rooms and I started like working on these steps that we have, I started looking at me, you know, like I realized like I'm the most important person to me today is me. You know, all those times that I escaped me through other people, you know, I'm trying to find something good in someone else so I can identify with it in myself. You know, the day I realized like the first relationship that I had was with my sponsor. That was the first person that I got honest with. You know, that was the first person that I opened up and like let inside of me, that I actually took time to tear down some of them stones that was in my wall. See, I still have a wall today, you know, but by the grace of God and the help of the sponsor, they allowed me to remove some of those stones, you know, start to get honest, you know, because see, like for me, through the course of my life, it was always easier for me to tell that lie than to tell you the truth, you know. I would put on that placebo, like what I thought you wanted me to be. You know, I was a very good actor. You know, I'm an addict. Hell, you know, I'm a very good actor. You know, and that's what the course of my life I went through. You know, I never got a chance to let no one in close to me because when I felt you was getting close to me, I push you away. You know, by one hand I asked you like get close to me, on the other hand I was push you away. Like the addict said, like I always wanted more. It was always more. You know, and then when it got to that point when it came time for me to start giving, that was my key to start running. You know, the day I realized, the day that in order for me to get different results, I had to do different things. Today, the only thing I can do different today is like what you people have showed me. Today, I tried to get honest, try to have that open-mindedness, and the main thing is like I had that willingness to try. You know, the willingness to try something different, the willingness to let down my guard enough to let another human being in my life and say, this is Ken, this is how I am. You know, I was so fucked up when I come to the door. I couldn't even use my own name as Ken. I was Hawk. You know, fantasy land all the way. You know, the day I realized that I'm a human being. You know, when I say I'm a human being, I'm a person. I'm not perfect. No way, shape, form, or fashion. I had to accept me with my own character defects. I had to accept me with my own shortcomings. You know, I had to accept that like when I'm wrong, this program gives me enough today to know that when I'm wrong, I can go back and correct my wrongs before I let that shit slide and say, oh, it's okay. You know, but the day I realized that for me, in order for me to have a relationship with another human being, I had to get honest with me. I had to get honest enough to say, like, I'm a person. And in turn with doing that, I'm allowed to accept you as a person. You know, today I don't look for people as being something perfect. You know, that was my scapegoat day. I always wanted you to be better than. A weight on you to fuck up, you know, to get out of it. Today I know like people are people, you know, and that's what this program has given me to learn about relationship. A relationship starts right here, starts with me. I didn't have a relationship with myself, you know, and through the grace of God, this program and the person that I can call my sponsor today allowed me to have a relationship with Ken, you know. And when I say relationship, allowed me to open up and share those innermost feelings that I have, you know. Those things about that intimate relationship that I have, I'm working on that, you know, because like I said, for so long I took hostages. You know, the main thing was like the day I realized in order for me to get to that love, I had to get past that lust, you know. And the lust today is realized that it's only that attraction, that first attraction that I come into these rooms with. Not just the attraction that I have for a female, the attraction that I have for my sponsor, the attraction that I have for like you people. To get to that love today that I can honestly say that I can unconditionally love each and every one of you, I had to get past that lust. You know, I realized that I can go through a whole lifetime of lusting and never get the love. You know, but in order for me to get the love, I had to get to the lust too. You know, I cannot have love without lust. Lust is just the attraction. You know, when to pull the wool off of that, then I can get to that love. And those relationships for me today is like, that's very important to establish things like that. And the only way I can establish any kind of relationship today is by this honesty, by the open-mindedness and the willingness that you people have taught me. These 12 steps and these 12 traditions is a vital part of my life today. You know, I tried a lot of different things today. I know it don't work. You know, I know that opening up and sharing with another human being exactly where I'm at allows me to establish something that's much more longer lasting than that fucked up shit that I had when I come through the door. You know, when I stand up here and say that today I'm not just talking about using drugs. So today I'm not using another person, place, or thing for my own selfish gain. That's a relationship for me today. You know, just say that I'm not using another person, another place, or another thing for my own selfish gain. Only by the grace of God today I can say like I have achieved a sense of self-security that I can accept me today, that I can let down my guard enough to let another person in my life. Just say, it's okay, Ken. You put your hands down, you know, accept that hurt and that pain and go along with it. And just go with it, you know. That pain that come from it is a learning experience today. So today I realized that I had to stop doing the things that hurt me. But it's okay to have that pain because of that pain I need, because I grow from it. You know, and these things that I've been learning about relationships, that it start from home. See, when I come to the door, I thought relationship was like man, woman. That was it. People taught me there's much more than that today. You know, before I can get any kind of relationship, I had to have a relationship with a higher power, who I choose to call God. In turn, give me a relationship with Ken. And if you don't have a relationship with yourself, you can't have a relationship with another human being. And I pass.
Thanks, Ken. On the way here today, I got into a fight with my mother. I was dropping my daughter off at the house, and she did something and pushed a button, telling me that I wasn't perfect. You know, why didn't I do this thing perfectly? You know, and I heard that all my life, and I made a decision. I left. I was angry, and I left her. And then before I left the house to come here tonight, I made a decision that I couldn't spend the rest of the night, and however long I could feed into that stuff, feeling that anger and resentment. So what I did is I called up and I apologized. And that's real new for me. And that's kind of a lot of things that, you know, Ken had mentioned about having a relationship with myself. I don't have to abuse myself anymore, and I can abuse myself with resentments and feed into it and just get off on that like a chemical. I like that. So that really hit home, and I was real excited that I got in the car and I said, I'm released. I don't have to live with that. It's over. And thank God that I had the willingness to do that tonight before I came, so I could be here completely. Who else would like to come up and share? Debbie.
My name's Debbie. I'm an addict.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, everybody. My clean date's April 30th of '86. And I like what Steve had to say about relationships in step 2. Steve and I have shared a bit about that. And I don't know, that just, it hit home because, you know, I heard up here too about taking hostages, and I know for me, more than taking a hostage, it was an obsession. You know, relationships were always an obsession, just like the chemical. And, you know, today I can say that, you know, I don't have an obsession in the relationship that I'm in today with a man. You know, I heard things up here like relationships take work, and I believe that, and I believe that that's with all relationships. I heard Judy saying that, you know, her closest friends are the relationships that she struggles the most with. And I believe that. You know, I have a lot of close friends that I've been gifted with since I've gotten clean. And I've gone through a lot of pain with them. And I guess, you know, that's growth, going through that pain. That's growth for me. And I don't know, I guess you learn more about yourself, you learn more about the other person, and the relationship gets stronger. And I don't know, I heard a lot of people share about honesty up here in a relationship. And, you know, my sponsor always says things to me like, you got to own your feelings. And I believe, you know, I was just talking to her a little bit ago. And, you know, there's some feelings that I have to own and get honest with myself about, and then, you know, share them with the partner in my life. And that was real important for me to hear tonight. And like I was thinking as I was sitting here, you know, why aren't I at the meeting? Like, why aren't I at the dance? You know, I don't know. I walked into this convention, and you know, this is like my 4th convention, and I'm like, you know, usually I'm all gung ho convention. Here we go, you know, and today was just like a real day. I just, I was not happy at all, and I don't know, I just decided, you know, I was just going to put that away for a while. Just put that away and, like, enjoy this convention. You know, getting up here and looking at everybody here, it's amazing. It really is. You know, what Terry said up there, it's like a miracle for all of us to be sitting in here. And that blows me away. Clean. You know, there's some... When I was getting high, I always used to dream, you know, someday, you know, I'm going to get married. And don't you know, in 9 days from today, I'm going to get married. Right. And that's a miracle. That's a gift. And I'll tell you what, I believe that the basis of all the good things in my life today are because of Narcotics Anonymous. You know? And I believe, you know, what was said up here about having God like a threesome, like a relationship, that's so true for me. You know, like we had to, you know, like look over the ceremony that was going to be, you know, done at our wedding and everything, and there was nothing about God in it, you know. We like scratched that out and wrote God right in there, you know. It was like, God has to be in here. He has to be in this room. There, you know, he has to be where he has to witness that. There's no doubt about it. I don't know, you know, I went through some things about this marriage, you know, like my grandfather's not going to be there because you know, he's dead. And that, like, you know, that screwed me up real bad for a while. You know, and my mom would always say, well, you know, he's going to be there, he'll see you. And I prayed about it, and I kept praying about it. And I'm still praying about it. I do, I believe that he'll be there. I don't know, I'm real glad to be up here. I'm real glad to share. Thanks.
We've got about 10 minutes left. Lou?
My name's Louie. I'm an addict. I'm not always real good at I've never in the past been any good at anything. It wasn't until I came into this program that I started to be able to put, with the help of God and with the help of you people in these rooms, that I started to be able to put things together. And, you know, I hear a lot of things about relationships and in the first year and this and that. But when I first came into this program, I never took direction from anybody. And I got into a relationship right away. And to be real honest, if it wasn't for that relationship, that relationship saved my ass, you know. And I think that it was because I got into a relationship with a person that was a good person and that loved me for me, even before I was able to love myself. And through that relationship, I was able to share some things about myself that I couldn't share to anybody else. I had some trust built up in that person that I could open up and let them know some things about myself. And I think in the long run of it all, that's what saved my ass, you know. And things today, they're not always real good, but you know, I'm married today. I ended up I have 11 months clean almost. I'm married. And I think I believe that God does for me what I can't do for myself. My higher power has always done throughout my whole life, has directed my life and done things for me that I wasn't capable of doing myself. And I think for every person that I come in contact with, there's a reason for. And God puts people in my life for reasons, you know, for me to learn things and to grow, you know. And I'm real grateful that God has put that person into my life, because of that person being in my life, I'm able to accept responsibilities a lot better. I have things to work for. I have goals to try to achieve. And you know, I'm not saying that it's always good and things always work out, but I'm just real grateful that I have this person in my life, and I go through a lot of problems, but we grow together, you know. And me as an addict, I don't know how to do anything. I have to learn how to live. I have to learn how to do everything over and over and over again. And the same thing goes with a relationship. I have to learn how to be in a relationship. I have to learn how to love somebody and how to let somebody love me. And the only way to learn is to practice, you know. And that's why I feel God puts people in our life. And I'm just real grateful. And I just wanted to share that things work out sometimes, you know. Just because I'm an addict doesn't mean that I can't do anything, that I'm always going to feel, and that I have to be abandoned and I'm going to live the rest of my life without anybody in my life. Things work out. What it is the secret. There's no secret. Is you get what you put into something. You get out what you put in. If you're willing to go through some pain, and you're willing to grow together, and you're willing to put up with some compromise a little bit about, you know, just make some sacrifices, that's, you know, then you'll get some things back out of it. But a lot of people, and even I have a lot of tendency to run away a lot, you know. But the addict I'm involved with, we don't run, you know what I mean? We just keep banging heads until we work something out, you know. And it works out. That's it, you know. And you know, we're expecting a baby in February, so things. So I just, you know, God bless everybody here, and I'm glad everybody made it. And have a good convention.
Thanks, Lou. Let's get right here.
Hi, I'm Jerry, and I'm an addict. I've learned, you know, a lot of things about a relationship in this past couple of months. I just got out of treatment, you know, and I decided, you know, to get into this little relationship with this girl, and I found myself, you know, dependent a lot on a lot of things. And I found out where I need to be, that I need to maybe be in touch with myself a little bit. I got this empty space inside me, you know, which I want to fill up. I keep trying to fill it up with a woman, you know, and this woman, she came up a little bit earlier and shared, and I was in here and heard that, and it like really messed me up, because, you know, we just broke up last week. And I'm trying to work on, you know, some things on myself right now. I still have a lot of feelings towards this girl. And I got to be able, you know, to find something inside me, you know, like my higher power. Maybe fill my gap, you know, with maybe myself a little bit. Because I noticed in my addiction, you know, I had a very low self-esteem, and I still do. And she made me feel good. Real good. And I wanted to be able to feel that. And I was feeling it, you know, and everyone had told me, my counselors, my sponsor, get out of it, you know, it ain't going to do you any good. And when we broke up, you know, it was like, I thought, you know, everything was just back to the pitch, you know. I said, fuck it, let's go out and use. But, you know, I got with some people, and I was able to talk about it. But I feel it a lot, you know, because I started to really care for someone. Because in my addiction, you know, I used and abused anything and everyone, you know. And it's like I start seeing myself. I see what I'm doing now. You know, a lot of people bring it to me. And this empty space inside, you know, starting to finally be fulfilled. Within a week, you know, by just getting on my hands and knees every morning, every night, and praying, you know, to have God show himself to me a little bit, you know, to fill up that gap. And I'm starting to see myself like myself a little better. I came into this convention tonight, you know, and I saw this girl. And, you know, I fell right to the bottom, you know. I got all jammed up and everything. After I heard her share, you know, I was about practically in tears. I got up, you know, and I walked out, and some people got with me, you know, and one of them brought me back in the room and said, you got to get up there and share, you know. And it just makes a person feel, you know, that relationships, you know, for myself, I got to wait a while. I can't be jumping into this stuff, man, because my life, you know, was centered around my parents or my woman. And that was it. I see myself, you know, finally now that my parents are up in Connecticut. I'm down here in Pennsylvania. I can't depend on them right now, and I can't depend on a woman. I ain't going running to mommy now like I used to, you know, get thrown in jail. Mom, come and get me out of jail. Run out of money. Mom, give me some money. I'm starting to do stuff on my own finally. And I know for myself, you know, that I don't need a woman there to do it. I just need myself and my higher power, my friends in NA. And my friends in NA now are mostly men. There's a few women there, but I stick with the men because it keeps me out of trouble. I mean, I see a woman, I lust like a, I mean, you go and spend 6 months in treatment. When you get out, you know you want something. And it definitely ain't to hang out with the dudes and go bowling or something. And you know, with just being able to get up here and share, you know, and look out here, I feel a little bit better. But just letting people know what I'm going through, you know, because my life's getting better one day at a time. Thanks.
This is really hard to do, but we have to close the meeting. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you. But anyway, the meeting ends at 1:45, and it's a little past that, and I'm sorry. I'd like to thank everybody who was willing to come up and share, and I'm just, again, I wanted to say thanks for the honor of chairing this meeting. If everyone would please form a big circle and help us close with the Lord's Prayer.
Ha ha ha.